Hello everyone and welcome to the lecture on Amazon Fraud Detector. So this lecture will contain all those topics. What is Amazon Fraud Detector, benefits, core concepts, and how Amazon Fraud Detector works. So what is Amazon Fraud Detector? Amazon Fraud Detector is a fully managed service designed to automate the detection of potentially fraudulent activities that occur online. The service uses machine learning to analyze data, leveraging over 20 years of fraud detection expertise at Amazon to identify fraud patterns. You can build customized fraud detection models, incorporate decision logic to interpret models' evaluations, and assign outcomes for each evaluation. Amazon Fraud Detector handles training, testing, and deploying of custom models, generating model scores and performance data without requiring machine learning expertise from the user. To get started, collect and prepare fraud data. Amazon Fraud Detector uses this data along with machine learning models and fraud expertise to evaluate your data. So some benefits. So Amazon Fraud Detector uses, as I talked about, automated ML to create custom fraud detection models from historical data without requiring coding or ML expertise. Models automatically evolve by calculating metrics like account age and activity, learning to differentiate trusted customers from fraudsters, maintaining performance longer. After training, the service validates and visualizes performance using tools such as score distributions, confusion matrices, and ranked input impact. The service generates fraud predictions based on provided data using prediction logic, available both in real time and offline for single or sets of activities. Amazon Fraud Detector visualizes how data elements impact prediction scores, helping users analyze fraud patterns, detect bias, and identify top risk indicators. After model training, users can add rules to take actions based on prediction results, such as accepting, sending for review, or collecting additional data. So now I'll just talk about the core concepts. So first one is an event. An event is organization's business activity that is evaluated for fraud risk. Amazon Fraud Detector generates fraud predictions for events. Next is a label. A label classifies a single event as fraudulent or legitimate. Labels are used to train machine learning models in fraud detector. Third one is an entity, which represent who is performing the event. You provide entity IDs as part of your company's fraud data to indicate the specific entity who performed the event. Next one is event type, which defines the structure for an event sent to the fraud detector service. This includes the data sent as part of the event, the entity performing the event such as a customer, and the labels that classify the event. Example event types include online payment transactions, account registrations, and authentication. And fifth one is an entity type, which classifies the entity. Examples can include like customer, merchant, or account. Sixth is an event dataset, which is company's historical dataset of a specific business activity or an event. For example, your company's event might be online account registration. Data from a single event, for example registration, might include the IP address, email address, billing address, and event timestamp. You provide event dataset to Amazon Fraud Detector to create and train fraud detection models. Next one is a model, which is an output of machine learning algorithms. These algorithms are implemented in code and run on event data that you provide. Number 8 is model type, and this defines the algorithms, enrichments, and feature transformations that are used during model training. It also defines the data requirements to train the model. These definitions function to optimize your model for a specific type of fraud. You specify the model type to use when you create your model. Ninth one is model training, and this is the process of using a provided event dataset to create a model that can predict fraudulent events. All steps in the model training process are fully automated. These steps include data validation, data transformation, feature engineering, algorithm selection, and model optimization. And 10th one is the model score, which is the evaluation result of your company's historical fraud data. During the model training process, Amazon Fraud Detector evaluates the dataset for fraudulent activities and generates a score between 0 and 1000. For this score, 0 represents the low fraud risk, whereas 1000 represents the highest fraud risk. The score itself is directly related to false positive rate or the FPR. 11th is model version, which is an output from training a model. Then next, 12th is a model deployment, which is a process for activating a model version and making it available for generating fraud predictions. 13th is Amazon SageMaker AI model endpoint. So in addition to building models using a fraud detector, you can optionally use SageMaker AI hosted model endpoints in fraud detector evaluations. 14th is a detector. A detector contains the detection logic, such as the model and rules for a particular event that you want to evaluate for fraud. You create a detector using a model version. 15th is a detector version. A detector can have multiple versions, with each version having a status of draft, active or inactive. Only one detector version can be in an active status at any given time. 16th is a variable. A variable represents a data element associated with an event that you want to use in a fraud prediction. Variables can either be sent with an event as part of a fraud prediction or derived, such as the output of an Amazon Fraud Detector model or Amazon SageMaker AI. 17th is a rule, which is a condition that tells Amazon Fraud Detector how to interpret variables' values during a fraud prediction. A rule consists of one or more variables, a logic expression, and one or more outcomes. The variables used in the rule must be part of the event dataset that the detector evaluates. Moreover, each detector must have at least one rule associated with it. 18th is an outcome, which is the result or output from a fraud prediction. Each rule that is used in a fraud prediction must specify one or more outcomes. 19th is a fraud prediction, and this is an evaluation of a fraud for either a single event or a set of events. Amazon Fraud Detector generates fraud predictions for a single online event in real time by synchronously providing a model score and an outcome based on the rules. Amazon Fraud Detector generates fraud predictions for a set of events offline. You can use the predictions to perform an offline proof of concept or to retrospectively evaluate fraud risks on an hourly, daily, or a weekly basis. And lastly, 20th is a fraud prediction explanation. Fraud prediction explanations provide insights into how each variable impacted your model's fraud prediction score. It provides information about how each variable influences the risk scores in terms of magnitude, which can range from 0 to 5, with 5 being the highest, and the direction, which is driving the score higher or lower. Next is how fraud detector works. So Fraud Detector builds a custom machine learning fraud detection model that requires your business use case, recommends an appropriate model type, and identifies required historical data elements for training. The automated model training process validates your data, performs optimizations, generates performance metrics and scores, and allows retraining with adjusted data to improve results. Users configure decision logic rules to interpret business data, assigning action-based outcomes, which can be approve or review, or risk level outcomes, which can be high, medium, low for the activities. Detectors serve as containers combining models and rules, requiring thorough testing before deployment to production environments for the fraud detection operations. Fraud evaluation supports real-time analysis of single events and offline batch processing of multiple activities using historical pattern matching for accuracy. So this is an example. For funds transfer, businesses provide historical transaction data to train custom models, creating detectors with rules like flagging XYZ at email kind of request, and analyze any real-time transfers. Core components include training datasets, ML models, detectors, rules, and outcomes that work together to provide comprehensive fraud evaluation logic. And that's all. Thanks for watching.